What up, mongrels? Today I am going to be turning a single pop can into this. An uber lightweight cooking stove based on the same sort of principle as the Trangia, with the same sort of construction as a penny stove, made with rudimentary tools. You can be as precise or as sloppy with this as you like. I prefer the sloppy method, so the tools I'm going to be using is a thumbtack, pair of scissors, a ruler, something about cocktail stick in diameter or matchstick. I've got a little tiny Allen key, Stanley knife, craft knife, whatever you call them wherever you are, and some shims. Before we start, I just want to put a warning out there. You are using sharp things, stabby things, cutty things. The tins themselves, obviously the edges are sharp. Make sure you wear protective equipment. If you cut yourself, you're an idiot. It ain't my fault. I suffer with ham-fisted spadooferism, which means I have very minimal dexterity and my touch is as light as Thor's hammer. I won't be wearing gloves. Up to you if you wish to. Let's get into it. The first thing that you need to do is remove the top off of the can, and that is as simple as getting your Stanley blade into that lip and scoring right the way round a fair few times until it comes off. I'll do it now. I'll either skip forward if it takes a bit longer, or you can see it happening. Score around the top. Then after a few turns, you'll see that it starts to break through. When it starts to break through, you keep going until it starts popping through again in other areas, like so. And you could be able just to push down like a tin opener and open it around that way. Some areas are going to be thicker than others. And there we go. That's out. So on the inside you can see it's a bit jaggedy. You can either run your Stanley around it just to blunten it off, or leave it. It's up to you. A little bit better, not perfect. Get that out of the way. Next thing you want to do while you've got the structure of the can is just above this lip here, you need 16 evenly spaced holes. Now what you can do, you can be again as precise as you like, or my way. You can measure around. You can use a drill bit, tiny little drill bit, and drill through. You can use jigs, you can use whatever you like. The way I do it is a nice sharp thumbtack. That thumbtack there I've sharpened up on my knife sharpener. I find a spot just above the ridge, just see if you can see that, and I pop that through. I go to the exact opposite side of that ridge. Where are you? Which is about there, and I pop another hole halfway between those two. I pop another hole opposite that. I pop another hole. Then all I do, halfway in between those again. So again, halfway between those holes, pop a tack in, halfway, pop a tack in, halfway. Guess what? And you just continue doing that until you have 16 holes. So as you can see, 16 holes going around the top of the can. Now we come to the fun part, the measurements. There are 3 measurements to take into account when you're making these. From the bottom of the can up, you need to measure 1 inch. From the top of the can down, you need to measure 1.25 inches. And then the central bit of the can, you need 1.5 inches. So how I measure these, 3 of my placemats comes in at 1 inch. I have a fresh Stanley blade, which I sit on top. I hold that down with my thumb and I simply turn the can around and around and around. Now after a while that again will start piercing through, and I'll show you what happens when we do that. But before I get there, before I break through the tin, just going to make a few scores here. At the very least, the bottom half now is marked should I need to use the scissors. Before that breaks through, I'm going to whack that on, which will make it 1.25 inches, and I'm going to do the same to the top of the can. Round and round until we're almost through. As you can see, where are you? That is now starting to pop through on that side. I'm going to go back around the bottom again until it starts doing that, and then I will show you how to pop the things apart. Right, so as you can see now, where are we? There. That can is starting to pop through. So you simply got to put pressure on and it will pop off almost right the way around, giving you a relatively clean cut for the base. Up the top, find the bit where it popped through. There. Push by the seam. And there's your top part. So now you have your bottom, as you can see, and your top before assembly. In order for us to assemble them, we need to be able to get the bottom to fit inside the top. As you can imagine, they are of the same diameter. So there are 2 things that we need to do. The first is get a full can, take the top, and at an angle push the top over the other top until you see a little bulge appear along the bottom. Then you take it off, you rotate it, and you gently squeeze again until you see that bulge, and you repeat this right the way around the can. Now this is a place where I struggle, because if you put too much pressure on, you can split the can. If that happens, it isn't the end of the world, it just means you need some silver tape. But I'm going to work my way around there now, just stretching out the bottom of the top. So now the bottom of your can is slightly flared outwards. Now for part 2, we've opened up the top of the can. The bottom of the can we need to close in. So you get your matchstick, your Allen key, your cocktail stick, go in about 5mm or 1/4 inch. Oh. And push down. Now what that'll do is create a little crimp. You work your way right the way around the outside of the can, every 5 mil or so, pushing down. And eventually what you'll see is all of that coming in. So the next part we need to do is simply measure 1.5 inches, which will give me the centre wall. So if I go down there, it's give or take 37 mil. Mark that. Go down there, do the same. And mark that. Go along with my ruler. Give it a mark. Right the way across. I could obviously just pop that off where it's scarred, which I'm going to. And there you have the centre bit of your can. So now you have your top, your middle, your bottom. What I like to do here is flip my top upside down, flip the middle so it fits in that lip. So we've popped the middle in, and as you can see there is a gap right the way around the outside. We need 3 little notches cut in the middle. I can do that here. This is to allow the fuel to transfer from the inside to the outside of the wall. Nothing spectacular. Where are you? Just a little notch. And a third one, let's go about there. And I'll plop that back in. Like so. Now it's just a case of getting the crimped into the flared. A little bit awkward, a little bit fiddly. Right the way round, and make sure the inside is flush, and then gently push down until it is nice and flush. Now there are times when you do that you are going to split the can. I'm going to show you what I do should the can split, even though I think I'm okay. I would get some silver tape, cut it down the middle, this obviously isn't needed. put her on, making sure it is underneath the jets. You don't need to do this part at all, not at all. What it does mean is on the underside where the cans join, you can pop it round, all the way round. Just creates a better seal. Not that you need it, not that you need it at all. And that is your pop can stove. Let's fire her up and see how she looks. So to use it, it is as simple as adding, I won't use a lot in here, a little bit of meths, alcohol, or bio, whatever it's called. Give it a light. And then wait for it to bloom. Then all you got to do when you're at camp, plop your pot on top and you're cooking. So, as you can see, that is a really, really, really simple build. It's as close to free as you can get. It weighs as much as an empty can of pop. With bare minimum tools, again, you can be as precise as you wish to be. You pair it with a DIY windshield and you have got an ultra lightweight, reliable, dependable stove for pennies. I mean, for example, this one here, I think you'll agree that has been hammered and it's still going strong. Any of you that have watched my videos for a long time will have seen that in action. Got another one there. I've got hundreds of the bleeding things. I make them in all different sizes. 3 different sizes right there. Yeah. They are brilliant bits of kit. If you're just getting into wild camping, lightweight camping, it works just like a Trangia, as you've seen. Make them for your friends if your friends go out and you're bushcraft breeders. If you're like me, I really enjoy using kit I've made myself. That's simple, guys. Now, I have cooked just about everything on these. I've done liver and bacon, I have done sausages, fried up stuff, obviously use them for ready meals, plenty of brews. They're an absolute quality bit of kit. Get it made, make one for your friend, give it to them, and when you give it to them, say, go check out Step Away From The Screens. It's a clever little bugger. There are many, 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 many tutorials on how to make these stoves, how to make them precise, absolutely perfect. If you want to know more and you don't want some fat-tongued idiot explaining it to you, go over there and have a look. But they're that simple. Until next time, ta-ra!